Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the Wisconsin River Officials Association training tapes for the 2024-25 season. We're about 3 weeks into the season, and we've had a lot of great discussion and video clips that have been uploaded to our page. And so these training tapes are going to allow us to discuss some of those plays and talk about some situations that arise during the season, but also help us to get better as officials. Just a disclaimer before we start our training tape. This training tape is a product of the Wisconsin River Officials Association and does not constitute any official instruction given by the WIAA or the NFHS. This video does not count for any certification. It is strictly just to be sent out to our members to inform you of certain situations that our members are seeing and to also provide an educational resource for you to use to help you improve during the season. This film is an individually created resource and is strictly intended for educational purposes only. The video and comments made are meant for a three-person high school crew. Clips made may include games at the college level, and as we see at the end of this video, some of these clips are from a college games, but we will still stick to our high school rules for three-person. And no video or comment made in this training tape is intended to call out or degrade players, officials, coaches, or teams in any way. The content is strictly intended to look at plays and situations that occurred during the basketball season, and again, to provide an educational resource for our members. If you need to contact me or have any questions or concerns that you'd like to send my way, please feel free to contact me. My name is Kent Meehee. I'm a WROA member, and I'm the basketball co-chair and in charge of the training tapes for this season. The first topic that we're going to look at is active officiating. As we get into the beginning part of the season, we want to make sure that we are active and ready to go right from the tip. We want to make sure that we're hustling and being aware of any situation that comes up in transition. And we want to make sure that we are active as a crew, no matter where the ball might be, no matter what coverage area the ball is in. We want to make sure we're practicing active officiating as a crew. The first clip that we're going to watch is showing active officiating right from the tip. We can't always assume that a jump ball is going to safely go into the arms of one team and that it will easily transition into the next possession. We have to be ready for anything that might occur right away from the tip. Some things that we have to be aware of are knowing the status of the ball and the players, know who has control, know whether a team is in the front court or the back court, and again, determine which team has control, where they're located, and then understand the direction of the arrow right away from the tip. During this first clip, we're going to see a jump ball that goes in the possession of the black team, and then a pass right back to the point guard as this possession occurs. So, right from the get go, black has possession in the front court. However, when they pass the ball back to their point guard, assuming that they're trying to get their offense set up, we can see that the player gains possession right away in the backcourt. Now, this is a very close play, but we need to be able to be ready right from the tip and adjudicate this as a backcourt violation. The team in black gained possession in the front court, and then they pass the ball back to a teammate in the backcourt. The coverage for this should come from our new trail official, and the official across from the table that is transitioning to be our center can also assist on this play. As we see, our trail official does walk back and gets ready into the possession, but the player that is in the new backcourt, this player from black in the backcourt, is the responsibility of the trail. So the trail needs to be aware of the location of that player and understand that the black team has already gained possession in the front court and be ready for any backcourt violation that may occur. So we'd like to see the trail official hustle back just a little bit more and be aware that there's another player of their responsibility in the backcourt. So as we see, strange violations like this can happen right away from the tip. We just have to be aware of where the players are and know where the status of the ball is right away from the get go. The next play that we're going to watch is showing how we can be practice active officiating in transition. There's a lot of fast moving players and situations that can occur during a transition play. So we want to make sure that we hustle to home base and keep our eyes on the action in case there may be a crash of players or another fast moving foul that we have to keep our eyes on. So in this clip that we're going to watch on this topic shows that the team in gray is pushing the ball up in transition, and then we have a pass and crash which results in a team control foul. Now, as we see in transition, all three officials are getting back to their new responsibilities. We see on the left-hand side of the screen, we have the old trail transitioning to the new lead. We see our center position moving back along even with the ball, and our old lead is now transitioning back as the trail. What I would like to focus on is the official that is transitioning to be the new lead. As we can see, this official does not have their eyes turned looking towards the play. And we see that the players beat the official back to the spot as they are transitioning down the floor. What we would like to see from this official is a little more hustle to get back to their original spot. And we would like to see them turn their head and have their body open as they run down the court. This is from a college game, so we can assume that these players are very athletic and very fast. So even if the new lead does not get back to the lead position by the time the players are, we would still like this lead official to turn their head and have an open look at this action as they are going down the court. If they have their eyes turned and they have an open view, they may be able to assist on this play as they go in transition. Our new trail official does a very nice job of showing hustle and keeping eyes on the play throughout the whole game. Just because they're just or throughout this whole possession. Just because they're the new trail does not mean that they can just jog back and worry about the players that are around them. They do a great job of hustling and keeping eyes on the action just in case they have to come in and make a ruling. The trail does a great job of keeping eyes on the play, and after seeing the whole play through, is able to assist the crew on this call. So, again, in closing on this clip, when we're in transition, make sure to turn and have an open look on the action and make sure we hustle the home base so that we're able to make a ruling on any fast moving crash plays that may occur in transition. The next clip we're going to watch is a really good example of being active as a crew. No matter what type of plays are occurring in our area, we want to make sure that we move to improve and get the best look of the action. We want to make sure that we can see the space between players and adjudicate illegal versus incidental contact. We also want to stay active even when there are no active matchups in our area. Even if a play goes away from us and there's no primary matchups in our area, we still want to make sure that we step down and we look to assist when needed. And we want to extend that coverage only if necessary in order to help our crew. In this clip, all three officials do a really good job of showing active officiating through this entire clip. What I would like to do first is watch the whole clip through, then we're going to break down what each official does really well, and then we'll watch the whole clip through again. So as we can see, we have a swing around to the post with the shot, then we have an offensive rebound with some screening action that goes on throughout the play, resulting in an illegal screen call. Now, it seems like a necessarily routine play, but I would like to go through and watch each official and highlight what they do well. First, I would like to highlight the lead official underneath the basket. As we can see, the ball swings to the opposite wing, and the lead does a really good job of closing down just in case they have to initiate a rotation. As the ball comes back to their side and goes into the post, the lead official does a great job of stepping out and turning their bodies so that they have a wide open look at the post action. They step out and have a great view of the space between players and are able to adjudicate whether there's illegal or incidental contact. On the turn, we can see that there's no contact at all on the shot. The defender keeps great verticality, and the lead official does a great job of seeing that whole play through and not blowing their whistle. And as the ball goes back around, again, the lead is able to close down just in case a rotation needs to be initiated. Let's go back to the beginning of this clip. If I can get I guess we'll just watch to the end there. Apologize for the delay. All right, here we go. Now let's watch the center official. Now, the center official has the ball come in and out of their area multiple times, but I want us to watch the center official as they step down constantly and are actively officiating even when the ball goes out of their area. So, right away, as the ball comes into their area, they step down below the free throw line extended and see the space between the players. As the center, sometimes we tend to play a little too high as the center. So, this official does a great job of getting below home base so that they can see the space between players. As the ball swings away, notice the ball is now the lead's primary, but the center takes a few steps above the free throw line extended, and they're always constantly moving to see the best angle of the play, even if it's out of their area. Because we don't know, maybe they will have to step in and make a call that is missed by a different official. Maybe they get blocked or something, and the center is still moving to have a great open look at that play. As the ball swings back out, again, the center official steps down below this action in order to have the best look at the play and are constantly moving to see all matchups in their area. The last thing that we're going to highlight is the trail official. And as we can see, the trail official comes over and extends their coverage to help out with this illegal screen play. So now let's watch the trail official come down and show us really good example again of active officiating no matter where the ball is. So right away, the official briskly walks and moves to improve. They move down to their just below home base of the 28-foot line. And in this case, the trail has a pretty good look on each of these possessions, the shot in the post and as the ball comes back out to the top of the key. So they don't necessarily have to move to improve because right where they're standing, they have a pretty good view of each of those matchups. So they're able to get a count. They step in just slightly. And again, here is where the trail does a really good job. They have a matchup that starts in their primary and goes away. So this official at the trail position does a really nice job of staying patient, but also stays with their matchup as it goes away. Now, this official has the defender and has a matchup that they are aware of, so that they can assist the center official if necessary. And as we can see, the player goes into the defender and the center official is straight lined. They were not able to see that contact, but because the trail official was actively officiating and stayed with the matchup, they're able to get that illegal screen. So, as we can see in this play, all three officials do a really, really good job of actively officiating, moving to improve, and staying engaged with the play no matter where the ball is on the location of the court. So, let's go ahead and just watch this play all the way through one more time. All three officials are actively watching the matchups. They're moving to improve their position, and they're staying with their matchups and seeing the whole play through. And this is just a really good example of crew awareness and working hard together as a crew. The last topic that we're going to cover is the faking being fouled rule. We have some changes in this rule. We've always had the ability to adjudicate a faking being fouled rule, but now there have been some changes to this. So we're going to cover the definition of faking being fouled, or the flop rule, the correct adjudication of the play, and just watch a couple videos that show a really good job of adjudicating the faking being fouled warning, and also just an example of what a faking being fouled looks like. As we can see, LeBron in the clip doing an excellent job, as always, of what a flop would look like. So, the definition of faking being fouled. With this definition, this includes language that's really good for us to use if we ever have to explain to a coach why we called faking being fouled. Now, we don't have to go to the coach and explain why, but if they have a question on it, we're able to use rulebook terminology and be able to explain it in an effective way. So, the definition of faking being fouled is when a player simulates being fouled or makes exaggerated movements when there is no illegal contact by committing acts such as overtly embellishing the impact of incidental contact, using a head bob, and using other tactics to create an opinion of being fouled. So, again, if we had to explain this to a coach, we could say that the player made an exaggerated movement and while there was no illegal contact, we could say that they overly embellished the impact, use the head bob, and so on. So that's really good rule book definitions that we can use in an explanation to a coach. Now, how do we adjudicate this offense? Before it was a technical foul immediately, but now it is changed to a delay of game warning. So if a player fakes being fouled, we give a warning for delay for the first defense and a team technical for any other offense thereafter. One of the other questions that has arisen so far at the beginning of the season is when do we stop play and report? These next points are from the NFHS that we can use to effectively adjudicate a faking being fouled warning. When the offensive player or when an offensive player fakes, we want to stop the play and report immediately. If team control exists, we would go to the point of interruption if it's the first offense to resume play. If there is no team control, which we will see in the next in the next clip that we watch, if there's no team control, let's say on a shot, a player flops after they land on the floor, then we would still report immediately if the offensive fakes, and we'd use the alternating possession arrow if it is the first offense. Now, if this happens and it's the second offense, we would stop the play immediately and award two team technical free throws for the team on defense. If a defender fakes, however, that's when we want to withhold the whistle. We don't want to stop the offense's momentum if the defensive player is the one that fakes. So if a defensive player fakes being fouled, we want to not come in and report it until the offense scores, the ball becomes dead, or until the defense gains control. So the next two clips that we're going to watch are really good examples of what a faking being fouled play looks like and what we would do in the sense of adjudicating those plays. The first clip that we're going to watch is when a player from the gray team comes around to shoot the ball. We can see that they're able to land on the floor, but they kind of flop backwards and embellish the contact that isn't necessarily made. So the official does a really good job of coming in, and because the offensive player is the one that faked, we would stop the game immediately. They use the correct mechanic of the warning for delay for faking being fouled. And because this is a shot attempt and the whistle is blown when no team has team control, the official would go report the foul or the delay of game warning and would also use the alternating possession arrow to resume play. So, again, in this case, the offensive player embellishes and fakes being fouled. We use the correct mechanic. We stop the play right away. And because there was no team control, we would use the alternating possession arrow to bring the ball into play for the next possession. In the last video, it is a similar type of play where a offensive player fakes being fouled, but in this case, we will see that team control does exist. So as we see here, the offensive player will get called for a faking being fouled, but now because the ball went in, we do not have to go to the alternating possession arrow. Team B is now in control, so we would go to the point of interruption, which would be Team B getting the ball underneath the basket and being awarded a throw in. So to recap this video again, the offensive player is the one that fakes being fouled, so we would stop the play immediately. We use the correct mechanic for faking being fouled. And because Team B now has team control, we would go to the point of interruption to resume play. So, in closing, with this first training tape video, we want to make sure that we're ready for anything right from the tip. We want to be engaged and active right away when the ball is tipped so that we're ready to make a ruling on any weird plays that might happen right at the beginning of the game. We want to make sure that we are hustling to our home bases so that we're able to be in a dependable position to make a call. And we want to make sure that in transition, we keep open looks at the basket and open looks at any players that are in front of us so that we're able to make a ruling. And we want to make sure we're active on and off ball. If we have matchups in our primary, we want to move to improve so that we can have the best view of the action in front of us. If we don't have any competitive matchups in front of us, we want to make sure that we still are engaged and are looking to assist our crew if needed. And with the faking being fouled rules that have been changed, we want to make sure that we pregame that with our crew and go over any other points of emphasis so that we're all on the same page the entirety of the game. And that concludes the first training tape for this season. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this. Best of luck in the next week of games, and looking forward to being able to create more training tapes for our association and for others that want to watch these so that we can keep improving as officials and helping each other be the best that we can be. So best of luck in the next week of games, and we look forward to making more content for you soon.